Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. What needs to happen on Young and Restless now that Chance is gone? Young and Restless dropped the ball on several fronts during the Kane murder mystery, and noticeably with Chance's untimely demise. So, what needs to happen to right the ship now that he's gone? Keep reading and we'll tell ya. The utter lack of terror amongst Kane's guests as a murderer roamed the leafy hedges of the maze was an oof moment for many fans, but as it turns out that the curious lack of emotion wouldn't stop there. While Lily gasped over Chance dying in front of her and Kane shed a few tears as he held him in his arms, Billy, Chance's uncle, was surprisingly stoic over the whole thing. Worse still, before Chance's body was even removed from the scene, Billy was already pulling Phyllis aside to start plotting his next business scheme. It seemed disrespectful, and for some it was not unexpected. Chance's death lacked impact, and one of the big reasons was that the people who deeply care about him were not in attendance. Abby was told of his death off-screen. Summer will clearly learn of it off-screen as well, and Jill wasn't even part of this storyline that has more as much, or more, to do with her than Victor or anyone else. So, what needs to happen now? One way to help course correct would be for Young and Restless to give Chance a send-off worthy of a core character. That means bringing back not only his grandmother, Jill, who should have been part of the Chancellor conversation from the start, particularly given Dumas was Kane, but also Nina, so we can mourn Chance's loss along with her. Should Nina and Jill return? Vote. It was a scene that felt like the closing of a book. One by one, characters passed through the Chancellor mansion, some offering heartfelt farewells, others silently standing near the door, unsure how to say goodbye. Chance Chancellor, Genoa City's golden boy, had made his decision. He was leaving. Not in a blaze of glory, not in a body bag, but with a packed duffel and a soul that needed healing elsewhere, and now he's gone. Played by Connor Floyd, Chance had become a modern cornerstone of the Young and the Restless. A war hero. A detective. A husband. A father figure. A man with just enough torment behind his eyes to make him both trustworthy and tragic. His absence leaves a vacuum, not just in Abby's world, but in the entire fabric of the show. And now, the question becomes not why Chance left, but what happens next. The answer: a lot. Genoa City can't just move on, it must evolve. Here's what needs to happen in the wake of Chance's departure. Chapter 2. Abby needs a real storyline, and a real transformation. Let's start with Abby. Her character has always walked a fine line between legacy and limbo. As the daughter of Victor Newman and Ashley Abbott, her DNA is iconic. But in recent years, she's been defined almost entirely by her relationship with Chance, first in romance, then in grief, then in trying to keep their family together. Now that Chance is gone, Abby can no longer orbit another character. She must become the center. What does that mean? First, she needs to step out of the shadow of her family's legacies. She's run a hotel. She's tried business. But what if she leaned into something completely different, something that blended her love for family, her entrepreneurial spirit, and her need for purpose? Abby launching a foundation in Chance's honor could be the start. Think, a nonprofit focused on veteran mental health or at-risk youth, something deeply tied to Chance's storyline and something that allows her to interact across character lines. Devin, Nick, Billy, Sharon, even Nate. Better yet? Let's see Abby fall from grace. Strip away the privilege. Make her work. Let her grow, because that's how legacies are forged, not by name, but by fire. Chapter 3. Dominic's future, a tug of love and loyalty. Chance was many things, but perhaps his most human storyline was his love for Dominic. While the child's biology might be Devin's, it was Chance who embraced fatherhood when others might have run. Now, with Chance gone, Genoa City needs to reckon with this. Dominic's guardianship must become a story in its own right. Not a courtroom drama, we've had enough of those, but a heart drama. Devin must wrestle with raising a child whose father has disappeared. Abby must cope with a house that echoes with ghosts. And above all, Dominic must become more than a silent toddler with perfect curls. He must become the future. Here's the twist. What if Chance left behind a letter for Dominic, sealed, unread, a message to be opened on his 18th birthday? Cue conflict. Who reads it first? Does Abby hide it? Does Devin demand transparency? Does Dominic, in a few years' time, begin to search for the truth of the man who left him. It's not about custody. It's about connection. Chapter 4. Ray's old badge. Chance's cold case. Genoa City PD has a serious vacancy. With Ray gone and now Chance out of the picture, there's no official face of justice in town anymore. While the Newman and Abbott clans conduct their own investigations and vendettas, the city itself has no one protecting its streets. That can't last. Here's where it gets interesting. What if Chance left behind a cold case, one he couldn't crack, but couldn't let go of? A murder. A cover-up. A conspiracy rooted deep in GC's past. Something that ties back to the Winters family, or even the Ashbys. Something unsolved. This case could be picked up by a new detective, a fresh face with a dark past, or even by someone unexpected, like Kevin Fisher, drawn back into police work. Or Paul's son Dylan returns to finish what Chance started. In any version, the case becomes more than a mystery, it becomes a mirror. As Chance leaves the town to find peace, Genoa City begins to unearth everything he buried. And it shakes the foundations of power in a way we haven't seen in years. Chapter 5. Sharon as the unexpected anchor. With Ray gone, Sharon has been floundering. And yet, she's one of the most emotionally grounded characters on the show. She's seen grief. She's endured betrayal. She's battled illness, both physical and mental. Sharon understands loss, which means she's uniquely positioned to help others through it. Now that Chance is gone, Sharon could become a confidant for Abby, and maybe even Dominic as he grows. But even more than that, she could become the one who unites the community. A grief counselor? A child therapist? A center named in Ray and Chance's honor? Yes, please. Better yet, if Sharon and Abby clashed over how to preserve Chance's memory, or what he would have wanted, we'd have layered, emotional drama that doesn't rely on catfights or shock value, and maybe, just maybe, it paves the way for Sharon to finally move into a new phase of her life, with deeper roots in Genoa and a fresh connection that isn't about romance, but about healing. Chapter 6. Nina's return, and the Chancellor legacy reignited. Trisha casts brief returns as Nina Webster have always been electric. She's the grieving mother, the fierce protector, the Chancellor matriarch who's never quite had her full due in modern YNR. But with Chance gone, Nina's presence becomes essential. Let's say Nina returns to pick up the pieces, to help Abby with Dominic, to sort through Chance's belongings. What if she finds a journal? An unfinished memoir? Something that paints a side of Chance she never knew. Now, Nina's not just grieving, she's learning. And in the process, she begins to reassess her own life. Bring back Jill. Bring back Philip III in some capacity. Let's revive the Chancellor dynasty with new blood and old secrets. It's time. Nina could even start mentoring a younger generation, a new Chancellor cousin who arrives in town to help, but has their own agenda, because legacy isn't just about who dies, it's about who steps up when the world falls apart. Chapter 7. Billy and Lily. An unlikely triangle emerges. Chance's departure also leaves an emotional void in the extended family circle. Lily, tied to Devon and the Winters family, shares bonds with Abby and her son. Billy, always sniffing around drama, might be pulled in as he investigates Chance's mysterious departure. Let's raise the stakes. What if Billy finds out Chance didn't leave just because he was burned out? What if he was threatened? What if Chance was involved in something far darker than anyone realized? Lily urges caution. Billy, of course, charges forward, and along the way, a woman, someone from Chance's past, maybe from his covert ops years, arrives in town. She has answers. And secrets. And maybe a child. This triangle isn't romantic, it's moral. Who protects Chance's reputation? Who exposes the truth? And what does that do to the relationships between Abby, Billy, and Lily? Chapter 8. Devon faces his darker self. With Chance gone, Devon finally becomes the de facto father in Dominic's life. And while he's loving, generous, and stable, there's a darkness in Devon that's been dormant too long. He's lost Hillary. He's lost Neil. He's lost control before, and now he's faced with the guilt of surviving. Of being the father Chance couldn't be. Of possibly not living up to what Chance wanted for Dominic. Let's take Devon down a path of internal reckoning. Nightmares. Visions. Moments of anger. Mistakes. What if he starts seeing Hillary again, her ghost, not haunting, but challenging him? And what if Chance left Devon something, a letter, a voice memo, a confession? It could lead Devon to make a radical choice, to change his life, to renounce his wealth, to adopt a more grounded path, or to walk away from Dominic altogether, believing he's not enough.
Return of the war buddy.
That's
Every
drama.
soldier has a past.
That's heartbreak.
And not all ghosts stay buried.
What if, months after Chance's departure, a man shows up in Genoa City? He's quiet, brooding, scarred, literally and emotionally. His name is Trent Lawson, and he served with Chance overseas. He says Chance is alive and well, but that he's in danger. From here, the show explodes with new intrigue. Was Chance on the run? Did he fake his disappearance? Is he hiding from an old enemy, or trying to expose something bigger? Trent could be a new long-term character. He bonds with Dominic. He connects with Abby. He even sparks suspicion from Devon. Eventually, Trent's loyalties are questioned. Is he really Chance's friend? Or does he want something more, something that lies buried in Genoa City itself? Chapter 10, The Message, and the rebirth of Chance. 1 year after Chance's exit, Genoa City receives a video. It's glitchy, warped, but unmistakably real. Chance, standing in a desert, holding a photograph of Dominic. I did what I had to do. But I'm coming home. Boom, fade to black. That's the long game. Final thoughts. The future after Chance. Chancellor wasn't just a good man, he was a catalyst. For love. For loyalty. For conflict. Now that he's gone, the show can't revert to business as usual. It must evolve. Use his absence to elevate every character he touched. Let Abby rise. Let Devon break. Let Genoa City shake itself awake from comfort and remember what soaps do best. They stir the soul.